Welcome back to Visited by Voices Live, just talking genre. It's been a long time since I feel like we've done this, Sam.
Oh my god. I've had the worst fucking 4 weeks of my life. I'm not even kidding. Like, just in case anybody hasn't, I'm just gonna go do the housekeeping real quick because this has been the worst fucking summer and I've had in a while. So, okay, July 11th. It's a Tuesday. But for me, it was Tuesday. Sorry. So, July 11th, that was actually my and Chris's like dating anniversary when we first became official way back in the day. So that's also the day that like he found he tests positive for COVID. So he has to go and isolate over at his parents' house for a while. And then that day also was when my mom was getting a mental health assessment to see if she could get admitted to a nursing home. And surprise, dementia. So then so Chris is gone. I'm dealing with, the regular work stuff and holding down the fort, and then Knight gets sick. Turns out he had bad fleas, but his flea prevention was just like shitting the bed and not working worth a damn. So he had tons of fleas on him. We took him to the vet. He was anemic from it, and he hadn't been eating in a couple of days. So they tried a couple of things. None of that worked. Long story short, he had a bunch of fluid around his lungs and also his abdomen. And it looks like it was something like maybe like something to do with his heart. So probably ended up being heart failure. So I ended up having to put him down. And that was after about like 10 days of like syringe feeding him like hourly with, like blending up chicken broth with cat food because I'm gonna fucking like keep that cat alive as long as I can, but there's only so much you can do. And it sucks, but the vet was super nice. Everybody was really caring and stuff. So that's 25th. And that's when I had to put Knight down. And during this time, there's also the fact that I'm still like having to deal with like getting all the nursing home stuff ready for mom. And then a few days later, we take her to the nursing home. And that was horrible. And I'm pretty sure like it broke her completely because, we've been to see her a couple of times. She's lost her mind fully now. And it's like, it's just bad. And now it's like, oh, her SSI hasn't been there for a while. So now we have to figure that out. But I don't have any legal power to do anything because she never wanted me to have medical power of attorney or anything like that. So I'm trying to like do this and get her on the phone with Social Security. And now, and Chris has been working with them too. And it's like, now we've got like an interview set up and now we have to go to the nursing home and set up the care plan. And also we have a flea infestation right now.
So wait.
Everything's
all that was really horrible and heartbreaking. But I just want to point out that you lost a cat but gained fleas afterwards.
We did make that joke, yes. And actually, we didn't lose the cat. We know where he is.
Correct. You weren't being irresponsible about it.
See? There he is. He's still with us technically. His ashes are in here. Yes, I got the cat cremated. No, I'm not ready to spread his ashes. I'll get there. But while I was cleaning out my mom's room because it was so dusty and disgusting, I got a sinus infection. And that was fun. So I'm still kind of like, if I'm sniffling and coughing, that's why. And interestingly enough, I wasn't ready to spread Knight's ashes, but I found my Aunt Barbara's ashes. So we put those in the yard. Holy fuck. I don't want to do like the last 4 weeks ever fucking again. Fuck all that. And thank you for indulging me. I had to comply. I was like, that's why my ass been gone.
Well, you've definitely been missed. A lot of people have been asking about you, and I've just been making up horrible fake stories about you instead of the horrible reality. So now that you've heard the air, I look like a real liar about this whole thing.
Should have told them I was doing I was a spy and doing spy shit or something.
Secret Agent Sam.
Yes! Damn it! I need to go change my name.
There we go.
I haven't changed my name in like a month.
Well, that's how we knew something was really wrong.
Yeah!
Yeah.
It's like when my Twitter handle stayed the same for so long. How have you been?
I think everyone kind of knows kind of some of the stuff I've been going through. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like this is the darkest like real horror web show of all time, but yeah. So I got a couple a month and 2 weeks ago, something, I don't know. I on the verge of starting a new job. I was diagnosed with both COVID and anaplasma, which is a tick-borne infection that's about twice as bad as Lyme disease. I was fighting them both at the same time, and that was pretty brutal. And at the same time, there was, just regular run-of-the-mill crap going on that I was trying my best to ignore. So I've been kind of out of the loop too. So I mean, we've kind of been synchronized like a police song on that last album. So.
Well,
no one gets that, but that's okay. That was a joke for me.
I was just like, I'm just gonna walk right by this reference and pretend like I know what he's talking about. But it's. Ooh, I like Lone Star Sam.
Yeah.
Lone Star also super good beer. I do. I know it seems like everything's really depressing right now, but I mean, there's still kind of like fun stuff here and there, because Chris got so fucking high the other night when we were watching Fright Night, because we had not seen Fright Night. And I'd seen, some of the clips, right? Never saw it all the way through. So it's like, okay, Chris really wants to fill in his gaps. And he's, Chris wants it to be spooky season already, which this is why I married him. Duh. Because spooky season starts in August from now on. And I love that. So it's not that I dislike Fright Night. It's just not really it didn't really resonate for me, but it definitely picked up at the end. I enjoyed those special effects, and I could see where it's like, if you grew up with that and you saw it, you were exposed to it when you were very young and impressionable. Oh yeah, nostalgia bump all the way. But it was like Monster Squad in the Burbs, and I was like, it lost my attention immediately. But so anyway. We were watching it, and then we decided, let's have some CBD edibles. Chris went into outer space so hard that he had to watch the movie the next day or the day after that, because he forgot. He blanked out. I wasn't going to do that. I remembered enough. But one of the things when he had the craziest high thought. So we had taken a break during the movie, and he was talking about, well, what if there was this thing so you could just detect werewolves, so you could just reflect the light of the moon on them, build this machine so you could see who was a werewolf, kind of like doing the blood test and the thing. And I mean, I did bring up the idea later. It's like, why don't you just get some silver and poke people? But all I could think of is so it's basically like that sketch with Don Cheadle as Captain Planet. Instead of going tree, he's going werewolf. So.
On that note, I just want to say hello to all the new channel subscribers over the last week and a half or so, especially those of you out in Los Angeles. Got a lot of people watching today. You see this? We want to read off the people in the chat, and then we're going to get back to Fright Night. I just don't want to get so far behind that we don't say hello to folks.
DJ Donnelly, what's going on?
DJ.
Jessica. I want to make sure I'm saying all of the S's in Jessica's name, 2991.
Who would spell their name that way?
Jessica does.
Okay.
And hey, Rock Music Forever 90. What's up? I don't know who Dr. CZ Death is. Sounds like a loser.
Sounds like a short person.
I know, right? Dan Shine in the chat. What's going on? Oh, Andrew Morris. Cliff Booth. Hey, Mike, the real Fifth Beatle. Now, what else we got in here? Dave Vanderhoff. All right, Joe Bob Tarheel. Hey, Chris from Slasher Home Video. I hope I didn't miss anybody. I think that's about it.
Did you get Ben Grimm?
Ben Grimm, what up?
And the one under. And Retro Crack.
Yeah.
They're all siphoning through.
Excuse me. Sure.
So yeah,
He's fine.
okay.
Yeah, I'm just still getting over this.
So Fright Night, it's one of those movies that I've never really understood the love of. It's fine. I don't dislike it, but like people act like it's like this essential part of their childhood, and it's just kind of okay, you
I
know.
mean, you get titties really early on, so it's like if you're 12 and you turn on Fright Night, you're like, oh, boobs! I'm gonna stay for the whole movie.
Yeah, and I think that's like just fulfilling the rear window fantasy that most people had. Like that's the thing that Hitchcock didn't do.
What do
Um,
you? What's your opinion on Rear Window homages? Because I think The Simpsons did it really well. Look, that was the first thing that was the first Rear Window anything I ever saw because I was little. But I don't. I'm not really interested in it because immediately I'm like, well, I know where this is going, and I just don't pay attention to it anymore.
there's a film called Mute Witness, which begins as a kind of a tribute to Rear Window, and I think that movie is kind of brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't think it's available on anything on any physical media. I think it's probably some streaming service has it, but find it. It's a lot of fun. But in general, I kind of think like the theme of voyeurism needed to evolve past like people in buildings looking through binoculars at other people. Kind of the Disturbia thing, right? It was kind of
Yeah.
we've done that. It's not as bad. It's not that it's a bad film. It's just we've done it, and Hitchcock did it. So I mean, chances of you doing it better aren't great.
Yeah.
Dan saying there is an official DVD in Region One of Mute Witness,
Hmm.
and that's not enough. It should be implanted in everyone's brain directly. But yeah, I mean, there's something to be said for something like Blue Velvet closet sequence where that brings the voyeurism so much closer and makes it so much more dangerous that it kind of like makes Rear Window's aesthetic a little bit quaint. So maybe it's just time to move past it and assume and do something different with that voyeurism theme.
Yeah. I just I'm
So
considering watching the other Fright Night too, and then maybe I'll go back and check out the remake. But
there's been a lot of love for Fright Night 2 in the last, I don't know, 10 years or so. That did not exist when the movie was unceremoniously kind of dumped um, very briefly to theaters and then home video. It used to not have a good reception at all. And now it kind of, there's an audience that definitely like it a lot. And it's fine. It's as much like Fright Night, it's fine. I don't know that it's something I get terribly excited about. People are really upset that it's still not on Blu-ray and like, oh, it's coming. Oh, whatever. I hope they get the movie they love on Blu-ray. I really do. But for me, it's like that whole vampires in the 80s thing, besides Near Dark and Vamp, it all kinds of blends together and doesn't do much for me.
yeah.
I like those two movies quite a lot for different reasons. In fact, I think Vamp actually kind of does everything that Fright Night does, but kind of better.
Mhm.
And
I've never seen Vamp. I know it's something I should see though.
Vamp also is a film that so heavily inspired From Dusk Till Dawn. So it's definitely it's not underseen because it's not a rare film, but it's a film I think we should be referencing every time we reference something like Fright Night or Lost Boys. Everyone knows I don't like the Lost Boys. Like that would probably be my least favorite of the 80s big vampire films anyway.
That's cool. I mean, I'll take up the mantle of being the Lost Boys fan on the show. I enjoy it. I just that saxophone piece kills me every time. Oh, Grace Jones. Yep.
Hey, Christian, any sane person is in love with Grace Jones.
Her cheekbones are so high.
Oh my god.
You could cut a ham on those cheekbones.
She makes it all work. So yeah, I mean, like coming to something like Fright Night this much later, that had to be an interesting experience to you because you came without the nostalgia. And I always wonder, like with titles that are really beloved today, so much that maybe blindingly beloved, how it would be for someone that's not a kid, to see these films for the first time. So it is really interesting to see your reaction. It's kind of in league with me. You're like, it's fine.
I don't have a problem with it, and I don't hate it. I just it's just not for me. I'm just like, yeah, well, okay. I filled in a gap. I saw the elephant. We're good. I don't think anybody says that anymore.
No. No.
God.
We have a question from Dan at the very beginning of the chat. Let's go back up there, find it, and there it is. If you've watched them yet, what are your opinions on what Josiah saw, The Innocents, Moloch, and Resurrection? I've only seen one of them. Have you seen
I've seen none of them. I'm just going to let you go, man.
Okay. So, by the way, it always bothers me, like when you say The Innocents, I'm like, oh, I love The Innocents, but then I realize no one's talking about the film I'm talking about, which is one of the best shot horror films of all time. It's a beautiful, the beautiful cinematography of Freddie Francis, who went on to make some great Hammer films and then shoot The Elephant Man for David Lynch. But that's not the film that Dan's referring to. Moloch, on the other hand, incredible film from the Netherlands, is currently my favorite film of the year. It is folk horror done so exceptionally well that it makes me a little bit angry at it because I want to still love The Wicker Man as much as I always have. But honestly, this is a better movie. And it's kind of disturbing to have some of your hero films get taken down a notch, right? Not that The Wicker Man is not still staggeringly awesome, but it's no longer the top folk horror movie for me. And that's a little distressing, but what a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Have a modern film in a time when all too often we're not getting good films at all, but let alone to get something I think is the best in its category. It's exceptional. It has kind of 3 parallel plot lines running that you don't really realize are running. And that's amazing. It takes some turns you're not expecting. At least I wasn't expecting. You might expect them. Great performances, truly unnerving and uncanny at times. And all those movies that we have in our head? I don't know if they really exist, but whereas they talk about the devil the whole movie, and at the end you see the devil's claw come out of like the fire pit, and then oh no, we're closing the portal and he's gone. We never get to see him, right?
Mm-hmm.
The big cock tease devil thing, right?
Yeah.
Moloch does not do that. Moloch is completely comfortable saying, "Nah, okay, we're gonna go there,"
Okay.
and I love it. I love it for that. I love Night of the Demon, the version with the demon in it, for the same reason. Like there's always been a controversy with that movie about should you see the demon or not, because in certain cuts you don't.
Mm-hmm.
I've always loved the version where you see him running down the road because it's like, first of all, he's a cool ass demon, but on top of that, it really is just, it feels like the filmmakers went for something rather than just hiding behind the old chestnut. Oh, it's scarier when you don't see it, which can be true, but is not always universally true.
Sometimes you need the money shot. Like sometimes you need to get there.
Yeah. Sometimes the whole thing is like, people say, well, it's not the destination, it's the journey. Well, okay, say that to anyone who goes to 5 years of college and then drops out.
Oh my God, I was literally thinking about college.
Right. So, I mean, if you're going to do that and spend the money, you better get something out of it. So a lot of movies do work that way for me. Films that are intentionally ambiguous all the way through, now that they probably shouldn't, they shouldn't have their money shot. But that's kind of a subset to me in the horror genre.
That's true. Excuse me.
I haven't seen the other films. A couple of them I do have actually available to me. So The Innocents, Resurrection, I have available to me. What Josiah saw, I do not at the moment. So I'll have to change that, Dan, because you usually don't lead me wrong, except if it's a film about barely clothed girls and witchcraft or some shit that you tried to make me watch, and it was just an awful flick. I've tried to wipe. Or he also said something to me to the effect of Dashcam is a good movie, and I couldn't get through 15 minutes of that thing.
I hope it's all filmed on a dash cam though, because if not, very misleading.
It's all kinds of portable cameras, from what I could tell, and some incredibly bad acting and some horribly written characters.
Well, if we're gonna shit on a movie, can we shit on they them? It's a natural segue.
I would love to shit on they them, but I've not seen it, so that wouldn't be fair. So I'm going to turn the mic over to you, and I'm going to mute myself.
Okay. I mean, it's not that they them is like it's not like it's not a movie that's annoyingly woke. It's sort of, you go in there real, understanding that, well, your cast is going to be very inclusive, and that's fine. All the actors are, they're pretty much doing a fair enough job. The young actors playing the campers, I do like them. They're all rather charming, and I'd like to see them in other things. And this movie would probably be good if it was just like a coming of age movie instead of a horror movie, because there's a kill at the beginning and then takes a goddamn hour for me to get another kill, but I have to sit through a fucking musical number to get there, which I don't know why we're doing that. Kevin Bacon's fabulous. He's obviously playing the villainous camp counselor, well, head of the camp. And, thank God they got a heavy on this, because they really needed it. Because, like, the other heavy after Kevin Bacon is Anna Klumsky. And I saw her in Inventing Anna on Netflix. If you haven't seen Anna Klumsky in anything and it's like you need your fix, just go watch that instead. Because here, at first, it's like she forgot how to act. And I'm just, it's just sort of like, I can't act without my glasses. I'm sorry. If you haven't seen My Girl, just go back and you'll get that joke eventually.
Are you saying she's the Velma of the acting world?
No, that would be insulting. I mean, I think she is a fine actress, and just, the beginning of this was kind of, eh. So, I don't even... There's some stuff. Okay, I hate to say it. I'm going to say it. There's some stuff that's problematic in they, them. And I'm not going to spoil the movie if anybody really, really wants to go watch it. But I am going to spoil a scene. So there are these, all the camp counselors, for the most part, they seem to have all they've gone to this conversion camp, and they're previous attendees. And this one couple, the activities director and I guess the PE coach or what the fuck ever. So they're married, but there's a scene where the activities director, she's trying to feel up on one of the teens. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, okay, pedo. And look, I know we're not supposed to say groomer, but I'm going to say groomer because later on the married couple that were, previously attending this camp, they're trying to get in the mood to have sexy times, and they've gone through the campers' phones, and they're looking at the campers kind of selfies, in bikini, in bathing suits and underwear, and I'm like, okay, wait, so you were just trying to feel up. You're just trying to feel up on this one girl who is obviously a teenager, which is also a weird part because I can't tell how old these kids are supposed to be. One of them's 18. I'm like, why the fuck are you at this camp? But they're clearly teens, and it's ew. So in one scene you're feeling up on this teen, and the next scene you're kind of using that teen's pictures for your spank bank, and I'm like, ew. I get that y'all are the villains, but I don't know what the message you're trying to send to me is. It's just, what are we doing? So, I mean, it's not a movie that's so bad it's fun. It's just not a fun experience. Just let these actors go be in better movies, please. They're lovely, but this movie it was just not good. No. And I feel bad because This movie was so rough. I didn't even want to try and go watch Prey until like last night. And it took like all my willpower just to get back up and like, okay, time to watch a new horror movie. I was so fucking gun shy.
Well, I have to say that I've seen the French film Ills, and I've seen the giant ant movie Them from the 50s. So I think I'm good. I don't need to see this. You know?
Yeah, I mean,
I think I got it covered. Oh, don't worry, Rock Music Forever 90. We're going to get to Bodies. Kind of. So who do you think they made They Them for? Now, I mean, the obvious answer is like the built-in Twitter audience, but I don't think that you actually can make movies for people who tweet. I just don't think that's a real business plan. Did you think it started as something a little bit more nuanced and became what it is?
No, well, I mean, like my opinion is like, let's cash in on an entire subset of our population that has a different gender identity, and then they just decided to make it like really bad and kind of insulting to my intelligence, which overall is like, ew, that's really gross when you think about it. So just, I don't know, I think it's a cash grab. It's just not, there's nothing even remotely like clever or subversive or smart. It's just and it has the most, like, it has the most predictable resolution anyway. But the ending is so fucking funny, and I can't even. Okay, I'm gonna ruin it. Fuck it. Everybody, if y'all don't want me to ruin the ending,
okay. I'm gonna ruin all of Nope in a few moments. So go ahead.
Awesome. I didn't see it, so I'm excited. I'm excited. Why is your screen name not The Last Worst Nope?
Oh, we could do that, but
okay. So the end of this movie. Okay, surprise! Anna Klumsky is the killer, and she's been the one that's killing all of the counselors. None of the campers die, except for the one camper who's the honey trap, who is working with the counselors. And actually, I really like that actor. He was excellent. So she's, oh my god, because she had gone to this camp previously and been tortured with the conversion therapy. So it's like, okay, obviously you have a motive. Okay, cool. And so she's in the standoff with Kevin Bacon, and then like our main protagonist, who uses they them pronouns. So I think that they were the only one who was non-binary. So it's kind of weird because it doesn't, I don't know. Again, I feel like this is just a fucking cash grab. No, but they are a really good actor though. And Jordan, that's the name of the character. I'm sorry, I blanked for a second. So Anna Klumsky's character is in this standoff with Kevin Bacon, and then the character Jordan, the non-binary kid. And, she's going to go and like kill Kevin Bacon. And then there's something about like, I think Jordan has a gun somehow, right? And was like, no, and they're like, and she says, shoot him or something like that. And Jordan's like, well, I'm strong enough not to use the gun, and just puts the gun down. I'm like, this is a fucking horror movie! There's a fucking maniac killing people! No, I'm strong enough not to use a gun. And it was just, and then so basically Anna Klumsky just shoves Kevin Bacon and impales him on a rhinoceros. Like a rhinoceros horn. Not an actual rhinoceros, that'd be really funny though. And because there's like a bunch of trophies on the wall from hunting. And she just pushes him against that and impales him and then like cuts his throat, whatever. But it's like, let me get this straight. You're in the final act of a horror movie. The final scene, you are not going to use the gun. Where is your, okay, like, dude, what is happening?
So let me get this straight. You're saying that the big reveal is that the marquee value movie star in the film is the villain, so he gets to have the big villain scene? It's shocking.
Well, he was the villain the whole time, but it's like Anna Klumsky is like out for revenge, and she's the villain too.
off though, because how my head works. This means that we can't get Kevin Bacon as Steve Christie in that inevitable Friday the 13th remake. So,
well, this is the closest we'll get.
No, with my luck.
What was even better though is like after this like final scene. So here come the police. They've all arrived at the camp. And Jordan just like walks out of this building after this standoff, and Kevin Bacon's dead. Anna Klumsky has just killed him. Jordan just walks out of this building while the cops rush past them. And they're not going to stop them. Like, the cops are not going to stop them or anything and be like, what happened? This is a crime scene. All these people are dead. No, they automatically already know that, like, oh no, Jordan didn't kill anybody, right? Jordan was too strong to use that gun. I'm just like, what? And then all these motherfucking campers are just hanging out at the crime scene. Like, after the fact, after everything is resolved. There are no cops, like, crawling around, trying to figure out what's going on, digging up all the horrible evidence of this conversion camp. And Anna Klumsky already had all these pictures and evidence, and, obviously she's not going to go to the cops for that. It's like, she's the killer. She's going to take revenge. I get it. But just, goddamn. Like, it's just even, like, it's just a poorly executed movie. And why do I have to sit through why did I need a musical number? Why?
Yeah, if it's not made in India, we don't need musical numbers. That's for sure.
Well, I managed to get through all of that without misgendering anybody.
That we
I hope I don't have to. I hope that the character and the actor go by the same pronouns. Otherwise, I'm fucked. But I made it without misgendering anybody, so I'm proud of myself.
Good job, little camper. So I saw Nope, the new Jordan Peele film. Not new, and it came out a month ago, and I'm really slow to the table. But what actually inspired me to actually drop the dime, because here's the thing about Jordan Peele. He's a good filmmaker. He makes gorgeous films. He can get good performances out of actors, regardless of whether they're great actors, mediocre actors. He has everything going for him. And yet he has yet to make that film that can crack into the like B+ to A category for me. I find myself kind of underwhelmed each time. He tells stories basing his narratives on thematics, which is also something I just simply love. He should be one of my favorite filmmakers, but again, he's just unable for some reason to nail it for me. And so I was kind of thinking this would be a good one to wait for streaming on, and just hold off. It'll be okay. The trailers didn't make me particularly want to run out and see it. But I wasn't turned off by him either. It just was kind of like, oh, it's a new Jordan Peele film. It's going to do for me what Us did or Get Out, which is I won't dislike it, but I won't go around singing its praises. But a weird thing happened in the midterm between the movie coming out and getting reviews, mostly positive, but kind of the least positive of his career so far, but still positive. Mm-hmm. And the release. Actually, two things happened. The first thing is that I started reading reviews that started talking about how this was his most commercial and his most surface level film, and there's not much going on below the surface. Really? And that was kind of suspicious to me. I mean, obviously, Get Out and Us are so much more obvious in their subtext, but I couldn't imagine he wasn't doing something. This is the guy who had taken on the Twilight Zone. I didn't see his Twilight Zone, and it does not have a good reputation, but it takes the right kind of person to be put in charge of that. And the second thing that happened is in an interview, he was asked about the Alien franchise, and he went out of his way to discuss.
We were not going to make it out of talking genre without this.
No, and so if Jordan Peele loves Alien 3, I got to reciprocate that love. That's just how that goes.
God, but now I just want Key and Peele doing like the movie pitch skit instead of like Gremlins 2. They do Alien 3.
Yeah. So I saw Nope, and here's the thing. The film completely is a subtextual narrative, more so than his first two movies, which, but I think because he's no longer interested in tipping his hand, I think a lot of viewers and a lot specifically of mainstream critics just didn't get it. Now, that said, he doesn't completely pull it off, which is the problem I have with Get Out and Us as well. You know, the themes work fine, the images work fine, the logic sometimes goes right out the window.
It's kind of the issue I had with Us.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Get Out is probably works the best simply because it's the least ambitious message of all three. But if you've seen the trailer, I won't be spoiling much because actually the entire thematics of the film is in the trailer, where I'm going to just use the word sister and brother because I know the brother's name's OJ because there's a big joke about that throughout that one film, which is wonderful.
Nice.
And intentional. But his sister gives this speech about the very first film was a black man riding a horse, and that was her great grandfather, and so that they've always had flesh in the game. The UFO plot is subterfuge, all of it. Not to say there isn't a real threat out there, and it's this thing in the sky. It is. That's all really happening. But what the movie is about is about independent black cinema being co-opted by Hollywood and turned into something safe and mainstream. Which is the reason why we open the film with a television sitcom in which a tokenized Asian child actor is watching his white family get destroyed by a chimpanzee on set.
Destroyed like the chimpanzee is killing people or just fucking them up?
He's tearing off a woman's face, and it's not graphic, but it's very much there. It's just showing how destructive Hollywood is, right? It's this. But then when we catch up to that tokenized Asian character in the present, he's joined and now represents the Hollywoodization of entertainment. He runs a theme park, which is renting or buying horses from the main character, who's down on his luck and is holding on desperately to what his father built, but it's slipping away from him, and his sister's kind of abandoned it, and she wants to just go and do her own thing. And the film is very much about not giving in to the commercialized version of what black cinema was historically. And that is why, and here's your big spoilers, kids. There's a key scene where the UFO unfurls and it's actually more like a giant sheet in the sky. It's a movie screen.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a movie screen. Now, it doesn't go 4:3 perfectly. It remains in motion and doesn't allow you shape, but it is a silver white, clearly paper thin sheet in the sky. And there's also a major point of it only attacks you if you look at it. Well, if you pay attention to what Hollywood is feeding you in ethnic entertainment, it will eat you alive, which is the whole point. And the movie as a narrative works as much as it works. I think it's a little rough in places, and it's definitely has some pacing issues. It has a great fake scare in it that is amazing, but it's ultimately a fake scare. By which I just mean that there's no real threat involved. But the subtext is really a great idea, and it almost works. The actor who played OJ, I think, is sublime. It's one of the best performances of the year. He deserves all the credit in the world for shouldering this movie. Wasn't as taken with the character of the sister, although the actress did an amazing job. They did a few things in the movie that I thought were too broad. But here's my point. I love when movies try and do something and say something, use thematics in intelligent ways. And this does. Doesn't always mean the movie's going to 100% work.
It's worth the try, though.
I'd really love for Peele to take on a co-writer to help finish his sentences. Because he starts the sentences really strong. He just needs someone to make sure that the punctuation is in place. And I think he would become one of my absolute favorite filmmakers. But as he stands right now, I've been thinking about it. I said initially it was a C-. It's probably a C.
Okay.
Us is a C- because it kind of falls apart for me. Get Out is a C. So he's right in the middle of the pack, and that's not a good place to be for someone who's so ambitious and such an obviously great filmmaker just waiting for that project.
Well, I mean, you know, I wouldn't maybe put Peele in, you know, is like my top filmmakers of all time, but every time he puts something out, I'm interested and I usually want to see it. And, you know, Nope was on my list for this summer, you know, and it just wasn't able to get to it, obviously. Maybe I'll be able to do that at some point, but I was more interested in seeing Nope than something like The Black Phone. You know, Nope looked bizarre, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know what that's about. Let's do that one."
Well, yeah. Well, Nope is definitely more cerebral than The Black Phone.
That's cool.
But by the way, that's not a slam. I mean, I like some extremely non-cerebral films.
Mm-hmm.
You can make a great, dare I say, dumb movie. I wouldn't say Black Phone is dumb. I'm annoyed by a few things in it that it does. It's ultimately okay.
Yeah, I still haven't seen that. Again, this is just going to be me saying, no, I haven't seen it. No.
I would say that everyone should really go out and see Nope. I just don't think anyone's going to walk home thinking it's their favorite movie of the year.
I think they'll probably like it better than Us.
I wanted to love Us, but the problem is the theme is so cool, but it's so unworkable. It would work in a novel a whole lot better than it works on a screen. Oh, which, hell, that's kind of a backwards compliment, right?
That's a compliment. I wouldn't call it backwards. Or backhanded. Whatever. I wish anything that I did could be compared to be like, man, this would make a great book.
Yeah, me too.
All right. So definitely going to put Nope on the list still, because I'm still curious. It's just.
Oh, believe me, I didn't do anything to harm the surface plot. I didn't spoil the surface plot at all. I just gave you the under the hood stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean that, you know, I was already on board. I'm even more on board now. It's like, oh, thank God, something that it does sound like it's, you know, it's smartly written. And that's kind of what I need right now.
Yeah, I just wish it had been able to circle back its ideas and really finish them off, you know, and that's, listen, most Hollywood films aren't working on this level, so I should probably give it more grace. It's just when I see a filmmaker that I can see the potential to be one of the best of his generation, and he just hasn't had that film for me yet.
He'll get there. He'll get there, and when he does, it's gonna like just fucking nuclear bomb. Like what if he gets to do something along like in the Aliens franchise? And what if he just decides, let's just circle back and like go back to Alien 3 somehow? There you go. Problem solved.
There'll never be another Alien film as dark as Alien 3. I think we all know that.
I know.
Can you imagine? How can you imagine them trying to go darker? Man.
Well, speaking of xenomorph adjacent things.
Cool.
Should we talk about Prey? I mean, I know you haven't seen it.
I have not seen it. And I'll hand the mic over to you in just a second. I'll just say that I like the look of the monster, and I haven't really liked any of the movies, including the first. It's just not something I've ever had a lot of love for. So I haven't run to see the new one simply because it's not really my thing. And I understand a lot of people like it. A lot of people even maybe love it. And I'm glad they do. They're all their adrenaline rush off of it. I just don't think I will. But
there's no adrenaline rushing. There's just it's a fine little movie. It's a fine little installment in the Predator movies, in the Predator series. But I liked it because I enjoyed the first Predator movie, and that's kind of what we're doing here. And, there are lines that come directly from the first one. And it follows, of course, we have a young Comanche girl named Naru, and she's essentially kind of going through her initiation, much like our I'm sorry, I don't know how to say the name of the predator species. I thought I did. I thought it was Yaucha, but I don't think I'm saying that correctly. So I'm just going to say the predator dude. So, they have a nice little alignment right there. But there's just, I'd like this better if it wasn't probably in the Predator franchise. I don't really think we need it, but it's fine. If if you got to make a movie to keep the rights, I understand. And I also do like the fact that they bothered to have like a separate dub track in Comanche. I didn't watch it that way, but I do like that touch. I thought that was nice. There are a lot of CG animals, and they don't look half bad considering they're CG until they're just focusing. They have the camera on them like a couple of seconds too long, and then you can see, oh, that's a fake animal. So overall, I don't really have any big complaints about the movie other than the fact that it just doesn't. I don't know if it really needed to be made, but it's fine. I'm just very much like, oh, this was nice. Didn't break any new ground for me. The only thing that was interesting is that you do get to see a pistol that is given to Naru by one of the fur trappers, and that ends up being that pistol that Danny Glover has at the end of Predator 2. But then there's also the fact it's like, well, how did the Predators get that gun? So, and look, I don't care what y'all say about Predators being honorable. Them motherfuckers are sore fucking losers. And you get to see how sore fucking losers they are in the end credits, but it's whatever. I'll leave that there. But dude, like those assholes always are rage quitting. That's all they know how to do. So I don't really have a ton to say about Prey other than I liked it. Don't know why they really needed to do it, but it's fine. I recommend it.
I wonder if this, if we could just break out, because it seems like a kind of franchise that doesn't need to just keep telling the same story, which it does.
Same story every single time. It's always about, oh, honor. Oh, it's a predator going through his initiation. I am tired of these fucking teen boy going through puberty predators. Just can I have an adult male predator going through his own journey, or maybe give me a female predator?
How about we see an entire battalion of predators that are actually like the army going into war? I think you go big. I think you go completely in a different, bigger direction with it. I think you can almost do space opera with it. Of a sort. Simply because the character is stronger than any of the movie's plot. Like visually. I'd like to see them get creative with it. I guess you need humans. That's fine. But what would a predator invasion of Earth look like? Not just one hunter, a freaking invasion. It's that to me is like the kind of scale we need to get excited about this franchise. Otherwise, it's just the same thing over and over, to me. And I know this has fans that love it and they want this. But to me, you already have now, 4 films? 5 films?
I don't know. Too many films?
I mean, it's kind of the thing going back to the Friday the 13th thing, one of the reasons I don't really want to see the inevitable next film is simply because, if you want them to just do what Friday the 13th does best, we got 12 of those.
Well, yeah. Jesus.
And if unless they find some way to do something cool and new and original with it, then we're just doing kind of like when those dinosaur rocker bands put out those re-recorded greatest hits records to get the publishing back. That's kind of what it feels like, right? Oh, it's Mountain are going to re-record their big hits. Who gives a crap?
Yeah. Sorry. Still hoarse. I don't have a problem with like going big with it. But inevitably somebody's going to be like, let's put in some xenomorphs. No, motherfucker. And I don't no, I don't want to, I feel like going too big is going to be like, well, let's put in the Aliens franchise too. Like, no, I think it would be interesting to see like just actual like regular human issues that we all deal with, but like just transpose them onto a predator. How do they deal with them? I'd like to see more of that. Give me something interesting like that. Like say we have like a female predator, but she's carrying a child with her and she has to defend herself and her unborn baby or so. I don't know. I don't know how they breed, but something like that, right? That would be different.
I'm saying the kissing is probably very dangerous.
Oh my God, can you imagine the 69ing?
Yeah.
So sorry. This is what happens.
This is what happens. My pitch has always been you have a group of predators out on a big hunt somewhere, and in a different species, you have one of a different species starts hunting them.
Yeah.
Right? Again, it would be familiar enough that your hardcore fans that just want the same thing would probably be okay with it, but it would be different enough that those of us who are like, can we just not have like the first film again, please?
Yeah. I did want to mention something because you brought up Friday the 13th briefly, right?
Yep.
So this is very weirdly tangentially related, but so in my spare time, I do surveys online to make a little bit of extra scratch on the side. It really, it takes forever to get one done and it doesn't pay very much, but you do it when you have free time, right? So I was doing this one, they're talking about different ideas for movie or TV series, right? And one of them, so I mean, the fact that they're actually polling people on these ideas means there's probably some good amount of progress. Like things have probably been written. There's something happening. One of them was a group of aging slashers has to like learn to get along with each other, but then also they have a killer that's after them who kills slashers. And I'm like, is Blumhouse in charge of this? I'm just saying.
Oh God, that's where it's all leading, isn't it?
Yes, Blumhouse will own all of the major horror franchises. God.
We get the world that we deserve.
God, I know.
Yeah.
So, speaking of major horror franchises, God, you're going to be so mad. I'm going to ask, okay, did you see that thing about Halloween Ends? And you're going to be like, no.
What thing about Halloween Ends?
There was a picture of Nick Castle doing like voice work while breathing. Right? Okay.
No, I see this.
Because it's like, I saw Nick Castle doing voice work, and I'm like, they're going to have fucking Michael Myers talk. That's going to be like when Kane decided to talk for the first time in WWE, and he was just had the little throat thing. He goes, suck it. I'm like, that's going to be our Michael Myers talking. It's going to be a fucking garbage fire. I would love it if he talked. Can you imagine how many people would be mad?
Oh, I think he should go into a dissertation.
Oh my God.
What
would his first words be?
I don't know. That's the thing. It's the thing.
It's so stupid.
It is so stupid.
That's why I think they're going to do it. I don't think that's breath work. That motherfucker going to be talking at the end of Halloween Ends.
Well, certainly that's what they set up at the beginning of 2018, right?
Oh, I don't know. I blocked that out.
The first thing is, he hasn't spoken in this many years. I think you're right. And I'm kind of assuming that I'm kind of assuming that they're going to go with something ridiculous, like after he's mortally wounded, he'll say, "I'm sorry" or something. Because what do? You know, is if you're Rob Zombie, it's like he's grunts out, "Fuck you," I guess, right? But
yeah, no, I remember. Yeah, I mean, like I don't count like the Rob Zombie Halloween movies as like I'm just gonna ignore them.
yeah, Jake, I'm with you. I didn't bring this up. No, but you know what? There is a serious conversation to be had, not specifically about Halloween or Halloween Ends or Friday the 13th or anything. It's just, and it's not my old standby of saying we should be supporting new icons and new films, but there is something about the horror fan base that I find really kind of distressing, and that's that. I said this the other night. I'm not sure if we were still on the air or not, but so can you imagine if in 1973, the year Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out, if Universal Pictures had released a straight Frankenstein film, like taking up after, say, Ghost of Frankenstein, would it have worked?
In 73?
73.
After Texas Chainsaw.
Not updated, like a film right in the mold of the original Frankenstein series. The answer is no, it wouldn't have worked. I mean, it might have been an okay film, but the audience wouldn't have been there for it. Well, the problem is that when we're talking about Halloween, Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw Massacre in particular, we're talking about just as long between the release of Frankenstein and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre now as Texas Chainsaw Massacre is to now. And we're still trapped in these same ruts in the road, right? We're still traveling the same threadbare road. And I think we need to really consider that for a moment and whether that's a healthy place for the genre and fandom to be. This endless fetishism of just a few slasher icons, it probably isn't our strongest place. When I look at my favorite films of this year there's going to be less horror films on my favorite film list in the top 10 than there has been in my adult life. And that's not to say that it's not mostly horror, because it is. But there's more non-horror this year than ever before. And I fear that is because Hollywood is rolling all the die on either remakes, sequels, side sequels, or things that are obvious plays on existing films. I forget the title of it, but there is a film coming out that is about people at an exorcism school at the Vatican. And it's just The Exorcist, right? It's just The Exorcist. So I think we need to get out of that death spiral.
Well, I'm going to take I think the blame for the death spiral is largely kind of on the 90s babies. And hey, guess what? I was a kid growing up in the 90s. Now, growing up, I mean, dude, I spent so many hours in front of the TV, right? So, like, so many different programs have embedded themselves in my memory. So if I see them revived or even mentioned in any aspect, I'm like, hey, I remember that. And it gives me the good feelings of being a kid before everything was fucked. So part of that is also growing up with a lot of those horror icons. I mean, a lot of the stuff from the 80s does bleed into the 90s. So it's completely plausible that you would have grown up as a kid seeing a lot of that. And I think we're stuck in this part where it's like, we just keep going back to the thing that gave us the dopamine, but we keep going back. It's like an addict. It's like you go back to the same thing, trying to get that same hit, but it doesn't make the right chemicals in your brain anymore. But we just keep going back to it because we don't have any other coping mechanisms.
So like you're saying, there's certain developmental snapshots that we are like True North does, and we just can't really escape them. Our eyes.
And I mean, like, I think a lot of my generation is developmentally stunted as well, and not really willing to move forward with change in a lot of cases. I'm including myself in that. I'm not just dragging my own generation because I want to shit on, remakes. Yeah,
listen, life-size Jason over there, the final chapter poster over there. It's very hard to point on camera. So I'm guilty too. I'm just not. I'm more worried about the fact that the community talks about the same like 8 properties ad nauseum.
Right. It's happy
so-
chemicals trying to get the
endorphin hit. You know, hey, I remember when my life was simple and good, and I rented movies at the video store. Right? Yeah, I do too. I feel all those same feelings. I just don't know if it's a healthy thing. Jake pointed out that Alex de Iglesias has a new film out there. It is called Frenzy in Venice, and it is on my top 10 of the year list.
Oh.
It is a great political slasher about tourism, and it's nuts. A lot of people are not going to love the ending. I love the ending because it ends with a denouncement rather than a climax, and I think that's a really cool, brave thing. So yeah, Jake, definitely take the stroll with the movie when it becomes available to you. It's a lot of fun, really, really well made, and I thought it was a lot of fun.
That sounds good. I'll keep an eye out for it too.
Yes, it's weirdly unavailable.
Yeah.
It's one of those times when a VPN comes in really helpful. I don't know why it's having problems penetrating the American market, but and also this is a sign of the times, because like when Bitching and Witching came out, that movie found a home video outlet, but because physical media is so in such bad shape, it doesn't have that same outlet. And streaming services, I mean, Shudder is really good at sussing out some foreign horror, but they're also pretty picky about it. It would be a good title for them, but I don't think it'd be a great title for them, because again, it does have that whole political, intellectual thing going on. So, Witching and Bitching, I had it backwards. Thank you, Ben. I only saw it once. It's actually one of my least favorite of his works, but whatever.
That's just a day that ends in Y for me.
Yeah. Dan had asked about our favorite recent horror directors that are emerging. And, you know, it's funny because I made a series on the channel about pretty much not necessarily the last 10 years, but people like Ivan Zaccone, people like Albert Metzi are definitely at the top of my list. The problem is they're not Americans. I can't go to the theater and watch their movies.
I don't know why you have to be so xenophobic, man.
It's kind of
sorry, because you said they weren't American. Sorry, it's not even that funny. I'm just really kind of like sick, and it sounds funnier when I laugh now because it's like my lungs are dying.
Absolutely. And I think that's kind of that's the problem. Like the American studio system at the moment is not really conducive to building a genre career. You know, you make your 2 genre films, and that gives you some cred, and then Marvel or DC come calling.
Oh God, yeah.
Because that's what happens.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Ty West is on the list. I would put Jordan Peele. I mean, I don't director-wise. I like to see a few movies from a director before I can really kind of, you know, make that determination. So, unfortunately, I haven't seen a lot of these. I don't usually watch too many foreign films, so I've missed out quite a bit.
I think, well, you know, it's weird because as much as people think that old, foreign, and obscure is like my thing, I don't want it to be that way. I want to just do what I did growing up and go to the movies every 2 to 3 weeks, watch the new horror film that came out, and get a Visiting Hours or a Bad Dreams, and be happy with that and ecstatic with that. That's what I want. Like, I'm actually the last guy who wants to have to work as hard as I work for the films that I enjoy. But I just can't get excited. I mean, The Initiation, the vampire film that's coming out in October. The Invitation, sorry, not Initiation. Who's excited?
I didn't even know it was about vampires. I think Chris had to tell me.
I mean, it's Interview with a Vampire meets Ready or Not.
Oh, no.
Not in. I'm not in. You know, I mean, Ready or Not, one of my favorite films of the last 20 years. But I already have that movie.
Oh, I had the best idea when we were watching Fright Night and I was kind of high. What if there was a house that every time you invited somebody in, it turned them into a vampire? Because the house is a vampire.
Don't talk too loud. Blum will hear.
I know, but hey, I would watch that movie.
The vampire thing has never been my like. I like classic vampires, but modern vampires, again, I guess that those '80s films really destroyed it for me. And then the horrifically bad editing in John Carpenter's vampires like sealed the deal, and I'm like, I don't think I want to watch more vampire movies.
Yeah, I mean, vampires have never been like my favorite. My mom was always more like team vampires, and anything, or werewolves or anything like that. Anything that had like kind of a big greasy monster. I was like, no, give me a weird supernatural slasher. I again don't have a problem with vampires or werewolves or any of your other garden variety monsters. Just I feel like a lot of it's been done and done and done and done.
The real question I have for you, and I'm dead serious, it is complete bias, I realize. Where is that big budget, perfect folk horror Jersey Devil movie?
Where's my movie about an Akuro Kamui? Where's that? I got a story. I got a story that, if y'all want to talk about making a movie, I got a story right here for you. It's not hard. But yeah. Oh yeah, Mike Flanagan's cool. I like his stuff.
Yeah. I mean, again, Mike Flanagan, Dr. Sleep is Dr. Sleep, burdened with too much weight of expectations between the novel and the Kubrick film. So, yeah. I mean, it's as good a film as it's going to be. I don't like all the cosplay at the end. I don't like going back to the hotel for the, I remember that. And I don't like one big plot moment, which is in the novel, so you can't blame them for it, but it's so dumb it hurts my head every time. But it's a gorgeous film. It's really well made. The astral projection sequence is astonishing film. Yeah. But burdened with the material.
I wasn't expecting the steam to be as I was concerned that wasn't going to look very, very good. When, because I didn't watch the movie till I think I finished the book, or I finished most of the book before I saw it, and I was concerned about that. But no, I was proven wrong, and that's totally cool.
Yeah.
No, yeah. You got to compromise with the, between the movie shining and then like the book shining and like figuring out what are we doing here and how are we going to keep everybody happy. And
you see,
I think they did his best. He did his best job as possible for this.
I mean, I would have made a different call if I was the studio exec. I would be like, we're going to make a sequel to one or the other, and we're not going to bother trying to split the difference.
Mm-hmm.
They got lucky because they got Mike Flanagan, right? Who could thread that needle as closely as anyone could. It still has some moments where you're like, really? But it's as good as it. And the other problem is, of course, like a what I call a king villain, like Rose the Hat, like is when a lot of times when that villain is put on screen, it doesn't work. The Mist is always the great example with the ultra religious woman who on the page works fine. Put her on screen and it's like cringe inducing. He managed, and with the performance too. I mean, I'm not taking away from the actress, but he managed to make it work as well as it possibly could. It's not quite iconic, but I would say that it's a very memorable villain turn in the horror genre, again, for the last 20 years.
Fuck yeah, I'm definitely team Rose the Hat. Every time I don't wash my hair for a few days, I'm just channeling my inner Rose the Hat.
I
haven't watched it.
I know you complained earlier about a musical number in the middle of a horror film, but how great would it have been if she just broke out into 4 non-blondes in the middle of that movie?
Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Oh. Man.
Jake's also saying, I liked Ready or Not, but I wasn't floored by it. We're not going to talk about the Scream movie at all because I refuse, but I was floored by Ready or Not. I was so on board because to me, that's how you do. Okay. This is going to be a horrible segue. I don't care. Horror gets a bad rap to this day about sexism. And there's no question in your secondary characters that kind of extraordinarily underwritten sexuality has always been a part of the secondary female characters in a horror film. But here's the thing, like the final girl thing is based on the idea of, a young girl has expectations thrust at her. She's put in a stressful situation and she rises to the occasion. They're very much coming of age dramas inside this, horror construct. Ready or Not gives us a character who, while she's not an original teen by any means, she's thrown into a world that's completely alien to her. And she figures out what she needs to do to survive. She's kind of the ultimate final girl. And the fact that the film was released by Disney, so she's actually a Disney princess.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's amazing. Grace is amazing.
Can I get some of that Disney princess merch then?
Can you imagine? They should just do that. They should just release they should have action figures of all the Disney princesses. Just include Grace in a limited edition. Oh my God. Covered in blood from the explosion at the end. Amazing.
Does anybody think she's not going to be the killer in Scream 6?
I don't know. I'll never see the film. No, I'm done. I'm absolutely done with that franchise. When the Ready or Not guys couldn't bring something new and fresh because the producers obviously just wanted the same movie, I'm done. Yeah. It's never going to change. It's never going to be different. Fans are going to still want to be precious about their legacy characters, or they're bringing back this character from that movie. Oh God, it's just so antithetical to what I love about the genre. So if you love Scream, you have my blessing. You can have my portion of it. Go out there, love it all day long. I'm not going near it anymore. I've never loved the series. I liked the first film tepidly when it came out, but I've never liked any of the sequels. And unfortunately, when some of my favorite directors couldn't save this franchise, it's just time for me to look at the door.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be there for that. I'll be seeing Scream 6, and I'll be seeing Halloween Ends, because I like to give my money to things that piss me off.
Feed the rage.
I know. It's just, I should just light that money on fire. It'd be a quicker way to stoke the flames.
That's hilarious. I wonder, I need you to fill the air for a second. I'm trying to find something.
I'm going to just cough into the microphone for 1 minute straight.
Awesome.
No. So, while, we were taking a break between They, Them, and Prey, I also got to introduce Chris to a couple of, older movies that I always enjoy watching, but he hadn't seen. So, I got to show him Urban Legend and 13 Ghosts. And, pretty much we're both on the same page. It's 13 Ghosts is good. It's just not as good as the House on Haunted Hill remake. So it's just, I miss when we were doing shit like that, and just kind of we were trying different things.
House on Haunted Hill's remake freaks me out.
The what?
The House on Haunted Hill remake freaks me out.
Oh yeah,
as a Vincent Price fan, I sit there and go, this movie can't work. And Jeffrey Rush goes in and nails the hell out of it. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, you just did Vincent Price for a modern age. That shouldn't be possible. And
yes.
And listen, the very end of the movie with the big dumb CGI black ghost thing.
Okay. You can forgive that for everything else that happens.
Exactly. I'm still cool with it. I like it more than 13 Ghosts. I think a lot of the 13 Ghosts has that kind of frenetic editing and kind of the over the top. Oh, this is the princess, and everything goes crazy for 3 minutes, and my head hurts like a wooden roller coaster.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Oh man, I haven't seen House on Haunted Hill 2, the sequel. I haven't seen it in a long time. I remember seeing it, but I memory dumped it, so I'm like,
yeah, that's a good idea. Don't do
I
that.
don't remember it. You ever have those movies where it's like, you've seen it, but you can't remember anything, and you're like, what happened? Why do I have an amnesia about this movie?
Oh, I have plenty of movies that I remember very, very, very little about, like, except that I know I had the experience.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Ademo Macri. I'm probably butchering that name, and I really do apologize. I enjoyed doing the longer piece on Lynch. So here, I'm going to be doing more of those about once every month. And the next one is, wow, that'd be great if you could read it if I got rid of you.
I do hope that you're going to talk about A Dangerous Method. I feel like that could be its own horror film. I'm trying so hard right now. Trying so hard to make that happen. I know.
So
it's never going to happen.
So it's going to be very much like the Lynch, whereas I'm focusing on the films that best support my argument, and I'm going to ignore the ones that don't, which I think you have to do with any filmmaker because there's too many commercial pressures in making films.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I don't intend to do like John Carpenter, right? Because I think those guys, like your John Carpenters and your Wes Cravens, even your Sean Cunninghams, and I'm a Cunningham fan. They're not really pursuing themes throughout their career, really. Like you could say John Carpenter and Siege movies. Okay, but it's based on like John Huston's Siege movies, right? It's the guys who have something to say. So I would like to do more long form videos. The problem is the last one took especially long because I got very sick in the middle of making it. Mm. So I couldn't record for a while. And the other thing is they just take work. That video is 40 minutes long. It's not a small undertaking. But I want to do the serious people I think who have changed horror fundamentally. Yes, I'll probably at some point do some older filmmakers like Mario Bava that also I think we're exploring some themes and changed horror. But I thought that people who love Lynch probably love Cronenberg, so that was a pretty good segue, I thought.
Yeah. Ooh. Well, I mean, we all like chicken McNuggets.
Do you like the spicy ones, though? Because they're back for limited time only.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You have my attention now. I just made some, like, bitchin' Mongolian beef for dinner, though.
Ah.
Yeah, like, breaded it and just, like, fried it and just made the sauce. Like, it tastes like actual Chinese food. I mean, it's not quite as good as chicken McNuggets, but...
Am I having a stroke, or do I not understand your comment, rock music? Oh, I thought you meant It, like the movie It, and I was like, lost. It's not. No, because Crimes of the Future will definitely be included. But you're not entirely wrong. I mean, I'm not going to do the crime movies because they're not fundamentally horror films.
Mm. Yep, that's true. Spicy nuggets are alive. Lauren, what is your take on nuggets?
You want to hear a story about Burger King's chicken tenders because it's far more interesting than my opinion. Nuggets.
We always want fast food stories on the show. I know it's not Steaks Podcast, but still.
I have no idea where we went for this field trip, but we had a field trip at school, and they had collected money from us before we went on the field trip, so they guarantee that we all would have money to buy food. And they had told we had to sign permission, as our parents had to sign permission slips. On the way back, they were stopping at a Burger King, and it was the 80s, and they had just introduced the chicken tender.
Those were amazing.
The original chicken tender, the long
one
where they became dinosaur shapes and then sucked. And now they just have nuggets that are like toxic. But so I was excited to try them, like much more than anything else. And I think we had to have $5, which is the whole deal. And we got online and I ordered it, and it came to $5.02.
So.
And I was like, well, get rid of the fries, I guess. And this teacher comes over and goes, 2 cents. I think I have the choice. Reaches heroically into his pocket, and he didn't have the 2 cents. And he was not willing to break $1 for me. So I lost the fries on the deal.
Oh,
That
what
was,
a dick.
that was my first chicken tender experience on a field trip.
Aw.
And I would say that the original Burger King chicken tenders, like most things in of Burger King of yore, was superior to McDonald's. But
I agree.
now, unfortunately, that's not true. But it was true.
Yeah, I'm team Wendy's as far as like chicken nuggets these days go. Nice. Good Owen Hart reference.
You know, where's I didn't even realize. So where's
you put a wrestling reference on the screen.
did Andrew leave us? Because we're finally talking about a subject that's like near and dear to him. But no, listen, growing up, we didn't eat out a lot, so fast food was like not just attractive for the reasons all kids are attracted to fast food, but it was also rare and wonderful. And then, of course, when I moved out of my house, I ate way too much of it, and that accelerated other problems in my life. And I guess that's not probably a story that everyone can tell.
We've all eaten horribly when we first had a little bit of independence. Trust me.
So the chicken fries, and we'll get off fast food so shortly, but
I've had them.
Yeah, they're okay.
They're they kind of have the nostalgia of the original chicken tender from Burger King because same kind of shape. They're long instead of
two of them together, and then you get kind of.
Yeah, that's true. I do like them though.
There we go. I knew he didn't abandon us.
Yes, there we go. Yeah. Oh man. Also, do you have Raising Cane's up there?
We do not, but I have eaten that Raising Cane.
It's the best. Like honestly, those chicken tenders are huge. Well, they're chicken strips. Let's be serious. But it's like really Raising Cane's is like seriously overtaking Wendy's and Chick-fil-A as far as chicken products go.
Well, it wouldn't overtake Chick-fil-A, but you have to wait 7 years online.
I know.
Guy with the iPad to take your order standing outside the drive-through window, right?
Yeah.
The weirdest business model ever. They realize they built the restaurants way too small, but they're making no attempt to change anything.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they thought they weren't going to be that successful. I don't know. Maybe they just really underestimated everything they were doing. You think they figure out it's not like they haven't been around?
Oh, you know how they could increase their sales? Open on friggin' Sunday.
Oh, that is true. Well,
I think the funny thing is we talk horror all night and we get a decent amount of comments. We talk fast food for like 5 minutes and we have equal number of comments.
Well, yes, because look, everybody can bond over fast food from all walks of life. I don't care like what your political opinions are or your morals. We all have like favorite fast food, which is why it's the greatest.
Jess, you weigh like 65 pounds. No one thinks you're hungry.
No, he has the metabolism of a hummingbird. Because it's like, he can eat, but it's like, you just got to keep eating because like he keeps burning it off so quickly.
Clef, Switchblade Sisters is a lot of fun. It pairs really, really nicely with Shaft in Africa, the third Shaft film, which a lot of people give shade to, but it is a pretty amazing, ridiculous comic book version of Shaft. I think you'd enjoy both.
Yeah.
So,
or something for him.
Have the Spirit Halloweens open near you?
I haven't been to a Spirit Halloween yet. Although I'm sure that I'm sure they're open in the area. The only Halloween products that I have so far consumed, I guess. I didn't eat them, but I bought them and took them home. So my house has consumed them. But, we went to Bath and Body Works. It's just they've already got all their Halloween scents out, but this is so they have these little things, they're called wallflowers. And they have like little scents that you can screw in. They're like little Glade plugins, basically, right? So I got one of them, and it's like it's the part that holds the scent, right? So it plugs into the wall, and it's like this white, like ghoul-like hand, and it's holding an apple. And when you plug it in, it's like it functions as a light, like a little like night light kind of. And the light illuminates a little skull through the apple. Looks very fucking cool. So, we got a couple of hand soaps, and once they have a big sale on candles, we'll stock up on those. But so I've gotten that, and then Chris and I got we went to Michael's. They've got all their Halloween stuff out, and we got one of those like cutout pumpkins where they're all stacked on top of each other. Those big wood cutouts that you decorate outdoors with. And so we're going to paint that and, seal it and just try to do like some sort of craft this year. So I'm very behind on consuming Halloween things.
My understanding is my local Spirit is open, but I've not been yet, which is kind of embarrassing, to be honest with you. But I've been working so much. So I want to shift to something completely different than Spirit Halloween or fast food. The trailer for Mask of the Devil hit this week. So Mask of the Devil is a film that will be premiering at the Buffalo Dreams Fantastic Film Festival in New York on the 21st of August this month. We're 2 weeks away. It does the retro slasher thing, but it's doing the supernatural retro slasher thing, which is a little bit more rare. And it also has kind of X vibes to it. We did support this on this channel by having the filmmakers come on while they were raising money. I just want to remind everyone to check it out. Definitely worth your time. And there might be an Easter egg for fans of the show in the movie.
Ooh, that's neat.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting. I'm looking up on IMDb right now. After accepting a job. Oh, can I not say the plot?
You can. Go ahead.
Okay, I was like, oh God, can I not say this? After accepting a job at a low-rent pornographer's, a feisty young woman must fight to survive against an ancient evil intent on killing everyone in its path. And the poster looks great. So, yeah, I definitely see the retro vibes you're talking about.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think they're going to announce their streaming partner shortly. So if you can't catch it on the festival circuit over the next 6 months, I believe around March, you'll be able to stream it anywhere.
March. Ooh.
Yeah, it is. I think we have a little bit of a walk there. Now, if you were a backer, the DVDs and Blu-rays are going to hit probably next month. But for the streaming world, we do have a little bit of a walk. But this is a case, again, we always talk about we're not supporting new, fresh, original IPs. Although this is doing the retro 80s thing, it is its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was raised, all the money was raised by fans. It's a real production. Look, it's a real movie. It's not a fan film. It's not shot on, webcams. It's the real deal. So definitely try and support that.
Absolutely. Looks like a really good movie.
I would not claim it as a masterpiece. I think it's the equivalent of kind of a late 70s Dead Babies joke, right?
Oh, that's definitely up my alley.
Yeah, it's a intentionally off-putting film. It's okay.
Have you ever met anybody that's actually like really offended by a dead baby joke? Or are they just,
I don't think anyone's really offended by anything anymore. I think it's all formative.
Yeah.
I mean, we live in a world. I mean, open your eyes to what we live. How can you be offended by anything anymore?
I'm trying to think of the last time I was offended. I guess it depends on your definition of offended. I don't even have a good definition for it anymore.
Right. And not recreationally offended when you're like, oh yeah, I hate that. I'm so excited I can respond. You know, it's not that. The idea of really, I don't know. I don't think we can. You're gonna have to bring up Dan's comment because I don't understand it.
I don't understand it either. Okay, can we get a bullshit artist battle between Lauren and Sam?
I don't know.
I don't know what that. That feels like something I should know. I think I'm too old to know it anymore. Like, is that a game, or are we gonna be like bullshitting and seeing like which one's more believable?
Whoa. Burger
Okay,
King chicken
sorry,
tenders.
our bad.
Chicken tenders, not nuggets. The nuggets are awful.
God, I remember when McDonald's, like, I don't know. I guess McDonald's probably still has like their own chicken tenders. Those things are fucking nasty.
I remember, but I can't imagine anyone still orders them, right?
They're like, I remember they called them chicken selects, and I'm just like,
yeah, that's right. Oh, because you know they were going through the batch and wait, no, not that one.
It's just all the leftover pieces that they couldn't put into like chicken patties.
You know, it's all that pink goop that actually they make the chicken nuggets out of. They select just the right hue of pink goop.
Ugh. It's the same pink goop as in Ghostbusters too. The slime that's running under New York City, they just transport it to all the different McDonald's out there for their nuggets.
I saw a kid today at work who was maybe 12 wearing a real Ghostbusters shirt. And I was like, you know, this kid has no idea that their parents just put it on it for their nostalgia. But it was still pretty cool.
Dude, I found some old pictures when I was going through my mom's stuff, right? I've got pictures of me. I'm like probably like 3 or 4. I've got like a Ghostbuster shirt in one of them. Like, yeah, keeping it on brand. And then I found one where it's like I was holding that old Beetlejuice doll that you would like pull the string and his head would spin and he would talk. Oh my God, that thing was awesome.
I had the Ed Grimley doll with the pole. Now, do you remember who Ed Grimley was? It was Martin Short's Saturday Night Live character. That he started on SCTV, but then moved over to.
I didn't know they made a doll of him.
Yep.
Weird.
Very, very, very cool. In fact, I'm pretty sure I chose that over Freddy, which is not a big surprise.
No.
So,
question, are you able, if I send you a picture, are you able to put it up on the screen?
Yeah, I should be able to. Don't send it to my email, not Twitter, though. Twitter's a pain in the ass to pull anything off of.
Okay, because, you know, since we're talking about old pictures and especially Halloween, I already put this on, I didn't put this on Twitter, but I put it on Facebook and I put it on Instagram. And it's a picture of Chris from Halloween when he was 7. And it is like my favorite picture of him I have ever seen in my life. He's dressed up as the Joker, like the old Cesar Romero Joker.
Tell me when I should look for this thing. Oh, by the way, the Bad Exorcist ripoff film that's coming out in October is called Pray for the Devil. Prey. Pray for the Devil.
All right. Sure.
I'll be rushing to the theater to not watch that one.
All right, I just sent it over. I just think it's like the funniest picture I've ever seen, and it's like this is such an unhinged smile.
I think I got it.
Cool.
All right, let's see what I can do here. The magic of the interwebs.
All right. I found like some of Chris's old sports stuff, and like this one where he's it was like when he was playing baseball, and it was sort of like a mock baseball card. And I turned it over, and it's got his stats on there. So it's like he's 12 years old, he's 5'9" and 155 pounds. Oh, look at him!
That's actually scarier than any modern version of the Joker.
Right? I know. I love that pic so much.
Ben asks if we're excited for the new Jeepers Creepers.
I don't give a fuck. I didn't see the last Jeepers Creepers.
I haven't seen the third film yet either. No. And It's one of those things. It has take everything else away from it. I just like the first film was okay, right? Like the first half is pretty good. This second half is pretty awful, and then the second film is pretty awful. So I'm done. I just don't need more of it just because people say, "Hey, it has a number at the end of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
We need to watch that."
Yeah, I'm just yeah not really interested in Jeepers Creepers.
Especially since they couldn't get the Susie version of the theme song of the song, the title track to play in the original. They used some freaking ripoff. That bothers me. Look, we got a lot of love for Ed Grimley out there. See that?
Yeah, you know what? I missed the whole Ed Grimley stuff.
Oh, you got to watch the Ed Grimley skits. They're insane.
Yeah, it was what, SCTV?
It was SCTV, but he did it for Saturday Night Live after he was on Saturday Night Live as well.
Okay.
And apparently it was a big part of his stand-up at some point.
I'm missing a lot of the, like, I never saw any SCTV, and, most of what I consumed was like, most of it was Saturday Night Live growing up, and then if I saw Kids in the Hall, yeah, I'm watching Kids in the Hall. So, but yeah, missed SCTV. What are you going to do?
Came on like at 11 o'clock at night on Channel 9, which may or may not come in off the rabbit ears, There was a chance you'd watch half of it and it would just fade out to snow at a certain point and you'd hope it come back. Oh, man. I don't know. Well, we've been going for about an hour 40, so if there's any final questions, get them in because both of us have to sleep because we have real lives.
I mean, they might just be simulations because everything is, but
I'm hoping
they seem real to us. They seem real to my bills. So,
yeah, and the comet is not here to save us.
Not yet, anyway.
No.
I wonder what's going on with that K2 comet that's supposed to be coming near the Earth. It's supposed to be around, come close to the Earth in December. But the thing is, it has a blue appearance, right? Because it's like, I guess it's because it's like the coma, the part of the comet is just like, it's coming from such a far ways away and like it's an older comet or something. Anyway, it looks blue and I'm just like.
In old age.
What?
It's gone gray in old age.
I know, it's just like, well, it's a blue. It has a blue appearance. So it's just like, is this the Hopi blue star of the apocalypse?
Oh, that would be so good.
Right? I know.
It's going to crash into like Minnesota and no one's going to notice.
Ugh. Yeah. Who knows?
Well, kids, if there's no final question, I think we're going to wrap it up here. Anything you need to scream at people, Sam?
I've been screaming a lot this evening. So, no.
All
just
right.
Beesh.
So we will be back certainly in due course. We don't have a lot on the docket right now because between Sam and I's various troubles, we haven't really had a game plan, and we're probably gonna have to get back to that. But no promises about the coming week. But I think sooner rather than later we'll start rolling on a more regular schedule. What do you say, Sam?
Yeah, things are slowing down on my side, so hopefully we'll get a little bit of breathing room over on our side.
All right then. In that case, everyone have a good one. Be safe. Stay away from black-legged ticks.
like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff.
What? Wait. What?
I watched like 3 movies from 2021.